Isolation day 97, Tuesday the 23rd of June. Hope you're all well and you're looking after yourselves. I wanted to talk today about a couple of things. The first thing is that the weather has been exceptionally hot in the UK. I've been sort of in and out of my office all day for the last couple of days. But today in particular, what I've noticed is because it's up sort of 30 degrees-ish, my blood sugars have been affected. And I have noticed this over the years, but I didn't really realise it would happen quite so quickly. Now, I think this is part and parcel of the transition as well. But look, it's very difficult to form any conclusion at the moment. I'm in a bit of a bind somewhat because I don't want to make adjustments or sweeping adjustments based upon figures if the weather and the humidity is affecting my blood sugars. So what I've done is I've kind of taken a middle ground on it. I'll show you the decision tree tomorrow and I'll show you what adjustments I have made. As I said, I'm still aiming to have a really good day with my blood sugars by Saturday. So another 3 days, another 4 days, and then that's my birthday. So I really want to get to the stage where I'm not going low after every meal. The weather is supposed to be hot for the next 24 to 48 hours, so it's going to be tight in that respect, but that's what we're going to do. The other thing I wanted to talk about today is this book, Fibre Fueled by Will Bulsiewicz. Yeah, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. He is an American doctor, and I originally heard about this book from a webinar from in the plant-based sort of realm, but then interestingly the Mastering Diabetes team, Robbie and Cyrus, they invited him onto a separate webinar, and Will basically explained how important fibre is and how important your gut is and the microbiome in your gut. And the way Will explains it in this book, I've only read a couple of chapters, bear that in mind, but I wanted to raise a couple of points. Chapter 2 is called, and this resonates really closely with me actually, 21st Century Life, Overfed, Undernourished and Hypermedicated. Our modern lifestyle is destroying our gut and our health. Now, I've been saying this for a long time. You know, these are things that I've been thinking about for an awful long time. Overfed. So let's look at that one first. I have seen the great kind of explosion of convenience, and I don't just see convenience in food. I see convenience in business. I see convenience in every walk and every facet of our lives, and people are prepared to pay for convenience. Nowadays, you can pretty much get anything delivered, and certainly during this pandemic, businesses have realised you need to be able to deliver food to people's doors no matter what. Everything is convenience based, and when I say convenient, what I mean is you can sit on your sofa with your mobile phone and you can bring up Uber Eats or you can bring up Just Eat, and you can get any food you want delivered to your home most hours of the day and night. Now, what that promotes is overfeeding. What that promotes is just, look, don't worry about it. You can get food at any time, eat whenever you want to. Combine that with sitting on your sofa playing computer games, surfing the internet on your phone. Combine that with the fact that we're in isolation. You know, these are testing times, but that transition has been happening for an awful long time. And I completely agree with Will in Fibre Fueled that yes, people are overfed. Second thing, undernourished. Now that goes hand in hand. A lot of the food you can get delivered to your door is processed. It's processed food. It is pizzas. It is fish and chips. It is burgers. It is kebabs. All of those kind of things are processed foods. And the reality of processed food is, and I've always thought this, and I've always, I'm not saying people shouldn't have it at all, without a shadow of a doubt, but everything, people talk about everything in moderation. The last thing is hyper medicated. What he means by hyper medicated is you go to the doctors and he or she will give you a pill. They will give you something as a solution to the problem that you're facing and the problem that you're experiencing, but it's generally medicated. It isn't self-medication. It isn't go home and eat something different. It is, here's a pill and it'll sort you out. Now, Will's got a couple of stats in here, which I'm really pleased he has, because it's a bit of an eye-opener. Now, bear in mind, it's from the US, so these are going to be US stats, but I wanted to read a few to you. More than 72% of Americans are overweight. That's essentially 3 in 4 people, and 40% of them are carrying 30 or more pounds of extra baggage around their waist and hips. For the first time in over 100 years, the US life expectancy just dropped for the 3rd year in a row. And I think the same thing has happened in the UK. You know, I think it is, we live in a convenience world, and I think the food that people are consuming promotes this. Despite the advances in medicines and the US spending more money on healthcare than any other country in the world, by far, their life expectancy is actually contracting. 60% of Americans aged 20 or older are using prescription drugs. That is a complete change to many, many years ago. You know, these drugs are a quick fix. Again, we go back to the word convenience. That's what it is. The last point I wanted to make about this book, at the moment, bearing in mind I've only read 2 chapters, is there are, and if you haven't heard about this, it's quite interesting. I've read about this numerous times, but there are blue zones. So blue zones are described as regions in the world where people are living much longer in comparison to the rest of the world, okay? Okinawa in Japan, Sardinia in Italy, Nicoya, Costa Rica, Icaria in Greece, and Loma Linda in California. So all 5 of those are at least 90% plant-based. That, for me, is pretty telling, isn't it? You know, those people are living on average 10 years longer than every other part of the world. Yeah, that's pretty incredible stuff. So that's what I wanted to talk about tonight, and I just wanted to reinforce the fact that my thoughts about plant-based, and I'm not saying that everything I read is completely categorically true. What I'm saying is I feel better on plant-based food than I did on keto. Yes, granted, I'm losing a bit of weight, but I am trying to counteract that. What I'm also doing is making sure that I'm eating enough, you know, and that I'm consuming enough calories. Tonight I'm going to leave it there, okay? Tomorrow I will show you my decision tree when it's been very hot, and you'll see how many times I've been low. Little bit of a downer in this respect, because I was starting to feel like I was getting momentum to sorting this out. I still have a plan to be able to not go low on my birthday, or near on by my birthday. So stick with me and see how I go, okay? Look after yourselves. Catch up with you tomorrow.